So I thought I would continue recording the Candace Owens episode that Ian Carroll is doing, episode 198, Why the BB Files is the Documentary Everyone Needs to See. Here we go. Now, how are we similar but not similar to Israel? And how is Israel the same as everyone else? Ian will tell us.
Israel, to their credit, actually has a legit history of putting their politicians in prison when they were found guilty in a court of law. In the past 20 years, they have imprisoned a minister of finance, a president, and a prime minister for crimes like corruption, bribery, lying under oath, and rape. They've imprisoned more than that, but these are just the three biggest names. Every government struggles with corruption, and Israel is certainly no exception to that rule. Avraham Horshin, the Minister of Finance from 2006 to 2007, was convicted in 2009 of embezzling millions of shekels and other financial corruption. He was sentenced to 5 years and 5 months, plus a small fine. In 2010, Moshe Katsav, the 8th president of Israel, was convicted of rape, sexual harassment, committing an indecent act while using force, harassing a witness, and obstruction of justice. He was sentenced to 7 years and wound up serving about 5. In 2014, former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert was sentenced to 6 years in prison. After appeals and continued trials, he wound up with a sentence for 27 months in prison, of which he wound up serving about 16, plus paying a small fine for corruption, much like what Netanyahu is accused of.
So what's interesting about this is that while they do, their legal system doesn't really seem to be a deterrent. Because right now, Netanyahu is being allowed, let's be clear. Netanyahu is being allowed to maintain a war when his country can very easily stop him if they wanted to. If they wanted to. Same here in America. If Congress, specifically the Republicans, did not back the illegal war and did not put enormous amounts of their own personal capital into and loyalty into Israel, we wouldn't. Yeah.
So, they still mostly got off easier, but they didn't get off clean. There is plenty of precedent for Netanyahu and his wife Sarah
to go to jail,
going to prison if he is convicted for the crimes he is accused of.
Yeah.
And the evidence showed.
The point that I'm trying to make here is that their legal system doesn't seem to be a deterrent, because they're also a country that will allow pedophiles from America who have a dual citizenship to go to Israel to escape responsibility. So there's that, and you can look that up. But there is an actual TV reporting on this story. Actual TV reporting on this story, and our country is backing Israel in an illegal war.
In the BB Files documentary alone is quite compelling. Hence why it is not available to stream on any mainstream platforms right now. Netanyahu stands accused of 3 separate but related offenses, titled Case 1000, 2000, and 4000. And I don't know who the hell comes up with these names. I don't write the rules. I just work here. They have dumb names. But Case 1000 revolves around Benjamin Netanyahu receiving a 20-year supply of gifts from ex-Israeli spy turned Hollywood tycoon Arnon Milchan, in exchange for illicit government favors like extending a tax loophole that would have saved him millions of dollars, pressuring John Kerry for help with Milchan's visas.
Hollywood producer. Didn't Candace and I think Ian too recently do episodes focused on the blackmail that Hollywood has been doing to our people?
And interceding on behalf of Milchan's investments using Netanyahu's government authority. All the types of things that Israel has jailed officials for in the past. And by the way, Arnon Milchan openly bragged about his time as an Israeli spy when he helped Israel steal nuclear technology from the U.S. for their secret nuclear program that they aren't supposed to have and still officially do not. That's actually tied into why Bibi had to help him deal with the visa issues, but that's a different rabbit hole. Case 2000 involves Netanyahu's relationship with the publisher and controlling owner of one of the most popular Israeli newspaper publications, Yedioth Aharonoth. His name is Arnon Moses. The allegation is that Netanyahu was trading political favors for positive media coverage of him and his wife. This is especially concerning because the relationship came into focus surrounding...
I'm just curious. Can we indict Benjamin Netanyahu here in America? He uses our media for favorable, he's currently using our media for favorable reports on an illegal war that he has conducted, that he's been trying to put into play strongly since 1992.
2016 election, where the two allegedly collaborated to weaken Netanyahu's opponent and presumably win him the election. Who knows if he would have won without this corrupted media slant in his direction, but that's concerning. Case 4000 is pretty similar to Case 2000. It involves Netanyahu forming a similar relationship with the owner of one of Israel's top online news platforms, named Walla. He used it to run positive coverage of him and his wife, as well as negative coverage of his opponents. Basically, Netanyahu has allegedly fashioned himself more and more over the years as the supreme ruler of Israel, and he has wielded his power to corrupt the media, exchange favors, and enrich his family through his position of power. Even Bibi's son, Yair, got in on dictating content to Walla, that news site, and let's just say that Yair has some extreme views. I'm going to show a clip from the documentary for this.
יאיר, ימין קיצוני.
He's ultra right-wing.
אני לא חושבת שאבא שלו...
I don't think even his father is as right-leaning.
ימין...
But Yair, he's like a dictatorial right, is what she's saying.
The common theme between the left in Israel, America, and Europe is pushing forward illegal immigration and illegal immigrants because they want to change the...
Okay, so let's just nip this in the bud right now. And prior to the war, the illegal war in Iraq, prior to that, in 1996, there was what's called a clean break document put out by neocons who we now know are have dual loyalship with Israel. They put out a clean break document with Netanyahu saying that they were going to go into 5 countries in 7 years. They were going to destabilize the entire region. What that in essence did was make it so that the entire region had to go to other lands. Immigration, right? Refugees started moving, migrants started moving into the West. And who was ready with a narrative to narrate Muslims as terrorists? Benjamin Netanyahu and his team and the newspapers that he has co-opted in America, in NATO countries, and in Israel. They stole the narrative. You guys need to break this down. It is a contained story here. They created the problem, and now they're narrating Muslims as if they are, my God, I gotta stop. Okay, so quickly, let's see the sequence. The clean break, 1996 clean break document. Go into 5 countries in 7 years for the purpose of destabilizing them. War starts. What happens? The citizens in those countries flee. Where do they go? They go into the West. What happens? Muslims are narrated as terrorists and dangerous. Sequence. But this started in 1996. And this is 2003 when this started happening into 2025. And so that the narrative about Muslims started here in 2003 when we went to Iraq. The narrative was ready for them to be narrated as, I can't stand this. When I say get the narrative straight, this is exactly what I mean. In order to protect our Muslim brothers and sisters, we've got to get this narrative straight. Tell this narrative straight. Get it clean. Get it to everybody. Tell them and get tabby on it.